I want to talk sincerely about my love of and my gratitude for the church. As somebody who used to be a Christian, I've done a lot of videos recently about my interest in Buddhism, particularly engaged Buddhism, social justice oriented Buddhism. But I used to be an Anglo-Catholic charismatic evangelical, which means I was definitely going to heaven. I ticked all the boxes. And that's most of my life. I had various conversion experiences and born again Christian experiences in my teens, and I was a parish priest. I've been a church leader for several years, and I've left all that behind, as others have done, and others have gone the opposite direction. Of course, somebody on commented on one of my first videos about how she used to be a Buddhist and now is a Christian. And it's normal, isn't it? It's part of our journey for many of us in a multicultural global world as we explore our faith to move from one place to another as we look for ways to cultivate our inner life and to become the people we should be amongst other people and in the world. So while I've done some videos on perhaps some of the hurt and the pain that are inevitable when you're in any institution for a long time, for like a generation of time, I have so much that I miss about the church and about Christianity, and that I still value and that I can't see and find anywhere else. It seems unique to the Christian faith, at least this combination. I love this idea with Heidegger, and I've been exploring it with some of my students recently, that no words have fixed definitions, and that there are families of resemblances between things. I'm not going to talk about that now, except to say, as I describe some of the things I'm grateful for in Christianity, you might say, well, I see those in other religions too, and you probably do. But the combination, I just find there's something unique and beautiful about the combination of practices and habits and characteristics of Christianity that I just don't find anywhere else, and that I miss sometimes. So, one of the things, and this is going to maybe sound superficial to some of you who aren't this way inclined, but one of the things I miss is the theatre. Oh my goodness, I miss the theatre of Christianity, the ceremonial, the processions, the candles, the incense, the music, the stage, the beautiful stage management. There's something Confucian actually about Catholic tradition, in the way that through a lifetime of careful and precise learning the liturgy, you allow the ethics and values, the implicit values of that worship to become part of who you are, part of your DNA, that over time you become shaped by it internally by precisely and carefully and honorably doing the external stuff. And some people see that kind of Christianity as just about show, but it isn't. It really does change you and shape you. I miss, as part of that, I also miss the liturgical year. It's so clever the way the Catholic tradition thinks about and shapes spiritual life around the year, and how that just grounds you and pins you to the earth and reminds you who you are and what you're part of, the seasons, the rhythms of mourning and celebration, that everything isn't about happy, happy, that everything isn't sad, that it takes you properly through times of death and times of resurrection, that it reminds us that we are people who grieve, that we are people who die, that we're people who celebrate and love. And it's so subtle, the colours. Most people, if you're not part of ministry within a Catholic tradition, you might not realise how important the green, the red, the gold, the white, those colours are as part of the cues for the whole of the congregation that we're entering a new season of the year, and how it borrows so carefully and subtly from pre-Christian traditions as well, from the years gone by. And you can talk about that as Christian colonialism if you like, that it's co-opted, the solstice, that it's co-opted. Like there's this ancient tradition of taking sage and burning it, and I can't remember what we call that in pagan traditions, but the waving of the smoke around and the cleansing that's part of that. And yet the shape of the Sunday service, the Eucharist, is so cleverly, so similar to that. It's borrowed and crafted sensitively and powerfully, I think. So I miss all of that. I miss the music, the richness of it. I miss spirituals. I miss high traditional music. I miss some of the choruses and the theses. I miss beautiful choral music. I miss singing my heart out alongside others with hymns that are around. All of that stuff I really miss. I miss the way it shapes people's spirituality accountably and story. I so much love the stories and the way stories are interwoven into the life of faith for Christians and for the church, and how those stories subtly shape people, and how they can be so open-ended rather than telling you what to think, just encouraging you to think and to question. And then, so there is so much about the church and Christianity that is beautiful. And if then you are somebody who is exploring spirituality, and perhaps you're an atheist, you're agnostic, and you think therefore Christianity isn't for you, it probably is. There is a church out there for you that will allow you to hold lightly to belief, but but allow you to belong and to join in, and to allow yourself to be shaped, your inner life and your outer life to be shaped by a worshipping community. So while for me, at least at the moment, and I think forever, the church isn't for me, I go back sometimes for one reason or another. And while I miss Christianity, when I go back, it doesn't feel like home to me anymore. And I'm sad even as I sit there in the church thinking it. I'm sitting there thinking this isn't where I belong, and I wish it was, but it isn't. But it might be for you. And it might be somewhere where you want to explore your spirituality and faith. So while a lot of my videos will be exploring things like Buddhism and maybe Taoism and other things, if as you watch these, you are drawn towards Christianity and the Christian faith, maybe that for you, for now, or even forever, is your place for exploring spirituality. To go for it. Don't listen to me.